Now, one other decision to make. Do I want that session to run from start to finish uninterrupted, or do I simply put a pause in which it's going to run for 2 minutes? It'll pause. I can talk or coach my client. I then hit the space bar and it will continue to run. And then it'll do that for each one of those 2-minute segments. But again, if I simply want it to run 20 minutes or 21 minutes straight through, it's simply leave the pause between runs unchecked. Okay? Very important. Number of sessions is an interesting field. You can put up to 80 sessions maximum for a client. I really recommend keeping the number lower. The reason being is, especially if you're using technicians and technicians are helping you run sessions with your clients, is having a small number that you're looking over the progress of the client every 5-6 sessions or so. It really helps alleviate any type of issue that somebody didn't realize when they set up the protocol. So for instance, if I put in here 20 and I don't check the person's progress for 10 sessions, I may have put a go on theta by accident, or I may have put some mistake in the setting that I'd like to catch. So at least at 5, it'll stop me at 5, make me review the data, and then I can give them 5 more and continue. But it's just a personal preference. You can put the number in here that you want, okay, and we'll actually put it back to 20, okay? Now, session type. This is also an important option. You see that it was defaulted on simulation. That's what I'm going to be using today so that I can show you the training screen. I can show you things without actually having a client hooked up, having electrodes on their head. But when you are actually training your client, you are going to use the training option. Okay? But starting from the top, let's talk about assessment. What assessment is? This is usually going to be on when you're doing a discovery, if you're doing any kind of Q or QEEG, or you're using a mini Q with an Atlantis. But the key to assessment is, even if I'm in a folder that feedback has been selected for, it's going to ignore that and there'll be no feedback given. It'll simply be recording EEG or recording data. The next step down is training, which of course that means I want feedback available. If the person meets criteria, I want them to get their audio and visual feedback options. Simulation, I'm just going to pump random noise through. I want to be able to test my protocol, see what it looks like, hear what it sounds like, but I'm not going to actually get live data from the hardware. Okay. Playback is simply, I've recorded data in the past and I want to play it back so that I can look and see what might have happened during a session. And then synthesize is a new option that we actually have, an EEG synthesizer that I can go ahead and build. Let's use the word sham feedback. So if I'm doing any kind of study or something like that, I can literally build fake EEG but make it look very realistic. Okay? But for the most part, we're going to be on training. For today's exercise, I'm going to be on simulation. Okay? So we've kind of given a quick summary on the session screen. Again, determining length of baseline, run length, number of runs. Again, 30 seconds pre, 2-minute runs, 10 runs, 30 seconds post. It's a 21-minute session. Keep that in mind for your scheduling and everything. You always have to add your pre and post baseline. And again, after making changes, what do? We hit use these settings to make sure that they're saved. Okay. So from there, what I'd like to do is I'd like to do a summary and go through kind of like what it would take for you to have a client walk through the door, select a specific settings file for them, add a couple quick changes for length of session, how many channels, and then have them ready to go to the training screen. Because obviously all these buttons that we've now talked about won't be needed for every type of training scenario. I just wanted to give you an introduction to the majority of the buttons or the capabilities, but I want to also show you the simplicity, if you already have a predetermined protocol you're going to run, of how quick you can get from build client folder, enter settings file, and to the training screen. So we'll look at that now.